I take a deep breath as I close the door behind me. I press my back against it, resting for a moment. So, Singe was relieved that he's not responsible? It's odd to be relieved in this kind of scenario, but I understand where he's coming from. We've all wallowed in self-pity before. At least he's free to use his energy in other ways. In this case, plotting with Acheron. Regardless of how I feel about Singe's current plan, I know that Acheron will keep us all safe, and talk some sense into him if he's off track. It wasn't my place to decide what they did, but it wasn't my place to defy Acheron's orders either. He definitely hired the best in the business. Acheron, Devyn. As if on cue, he approaches me. I saw the paramedics carry out a body bag. I was terrified, wondering who it could be, but I got a text from Singe right away. I'm glad to see you're safe, but in the light of what happened, I think some changes need to be made. Singe does not have a good grasp on things. I expect some answers from him promptly, and I expect him to put me in charge. Rocker's death was a tragedy, one that could have easily been avoided. If only. Cutting off Acheron, Shock approaches with fervor. What did you just say? I was just saying, it's a tragedy what happened to Rocker. He was so young as well. Shock's hands turn into fists. He trembles, clearly fighting off tears. Tell me what happened. Acheron looks at me, unsure of how to respond. I shrug. Dealing with this is not my expertise. There was an incident, Shock, like what happened to Clace. Actually, it was exactly the same. Rocker died in the same way? I guess Singe gave Acheron more info than us. But if this is true, then the person texting me, they killed Clace. But not only that, they were the Midnight Killer, using their power from the Ark for nefarious purposes. Then, the culprit is really in this building? And with access to power in a place like that? I shiver, utterly terrified at the implications. It's all connected more than I thought. I wouldn't be surprised if Terra was involved too. You mean, unfortunately, yes. How could you let this happen? Me? Best in the business, perfect track record. You're supposed to be here to save us. What are you doing instead? Do you even know where Rocker was? Well, judging by... I don't care about judging by. Your stupid deductions won't save anyone. 2 of my friends are already dead. Shock, please. Shut up. In a fit of anger, Shock throws a punch at Acheron. But Acheron doesn't move from his place. He stands his ground. Reaching out a paw, he catches Shock's punch. What? Acheron squeezes Shock's fist. He trembles in pain, trying to break free. Acheron's grip tightens. Looks like Shock's fingers might snap at any second. Hey! Let go! It's clear that Shock is starting to panic. Perhaps he thought less of Acheron and more of himself. It's hypocritical of you to say that. Instead of releasing his grip, he tightens it further. Don't place the blame of this on me. We're dealing with a serial killer here. And if I'm supposed to protect you, you don't want to be on my bad side. He releases his grip. Shock flies back and lands on the floor. The momentum of his attempts to escape used against him. He quickly pushes himself up and runs away. He covers his face as if in shame. After a few moments pass, Acheron turns back to me. Terribly sorry about the scene. I have little patience for men like him. Quick to anger, irrational, you know. The salt in his eyes. He thinks I'm responsible for Rocker. There's no way that he's thinking clearly. I know it's my job to protect, but I can't be everywhere all at once. It's not fair for him to blame me. I'm afraid now that I'm self-conscious. I must not let his thinking dissuade me. He rests his paw on his chin, in deep thought. Perhaps it would be best if you followed after him. I think in his situation, he might do something we consider stupid. People can do that when they've lost everything, when they have nothing left to lose. It would put us all in danger. I'm not suggesting this because I saw you hang out with him and Rocker earlier. I think it's better that you do this, especially with what just happened. I don't want I don't want to do that to him again. Of course, I'm sure he'll find a way to twist my actions against me. I'm only one man. We're not gods. We're limited. Can we truly be held responsible for something we never had the power to stop in the first place? This, I'm not sure. Either way, you should get going. I have a meeting with Cinch as well. I promise to change for the better. We'll be in touch as soon as I'm out. You got Acheron's contact information. He gives me a nod and slowly walks away. I suppose he's right, I should check up on Shock. I notice Kila exiting Cinch's office. He runs downstairs without even seeing me. I wonder what's on his mind. He's been acting a little off lately. Acheron shrugs as he enters the office. I do the same as I follow after Shock. Kila wanders the convention center by himself, seemingly against the previous instructions of Cinch. He scans the room in a curious manner, as if he's looking for something, unsure of what it is. I really hope I'm not late. Cinch sure likes the sound of his own voice. He nervously presses his back against the wall. To pass the time, he uses his phone for a few moments. Beyond the corner of his eye, he notices something. A figure slowly approaches him. This is confirmation enough that he's not too late. Lets out a sigh of relief as his worry washes away. Hello, Kila. I'm glad you could make it. Me too, actually. I didn't think Cinch would ever shut up. He's really determined to catch this killer. Yeah, I could tell. Good thing my weapons are here. I doubt Acheron could stop them himself. He's too infatuated with Daz. Really? I didn't figure him the type. He seemed all business and no pleasure. It's hard to get a read on him sometimes. Either way, let's not waste any time. I'm glad you agreed to this meeting. Well, of course. Never leave someone like you hanging. It's not every day that a billionaire... Just call me Max, Kila. My money does not define me. Oh, of course. I didn't mean to offend you, Max. That's okay, Kila. You didn't know. But I'm here as Max, not as the CEO of Armstrong Incorporated. Fair enough. Well, I'm here as Kila, so we're on even playing ground. What'd you want to talk to me about? About everything that's going on right now. Sorry for just assuming a moment ago. But are you thankful for the weapons here? I'm not sure. I know Acheron isn't, but he's also not doing his job. I mean, if he was, Rocker would be alive, right? Glad you see it my way. But your weapons didn't help either, so I can't say for sure. Sorry, Max. Wow, what a sharp wit you have. If that wasn't funny, I'd be offended. Cinch is the one responsible for that. He has the key to detonate the weapons. I did too, but it's not my job. He bought them, so he should use them. Instead, he's too busy drowning himself in sorrow. What a drama queen he is. Well, Rucker's death changed that. He realized Clace's death wasn't his fault, so it feels a little better now. Is that so? Yeah. So maybe his judgment will be more clear. There's still no excuse for Rocker, though. I'll say. Guess my weapons haven't exactly gotten the chance to prove themselves yet. I hope that you give them the proper chance. I guess. I'm not gonna be here for much longer anyways. I'm flying home later. But Cinch wants us to keep it secret. He says if the killer knows what we're plotting, they might take rash action. Oh, really? Max smirks softly. Thank you for sharing that with me. Wouldn't want you to get caught in the fray. Yeah, exactly. So what happens here, I'm out. I didn't want to come here to begin with. Wow, can't believe you said that. You must trust me if you let that slip up. Well, I don't see why I can't. I hate Tokyo. It's so stupid. Everyone is staring at me like I'm weird. I know. I dug into your history a little bit. Really? Why? You're just so interesting, Kila. Why did you tell anyone else? I mean, the real reason you're here? No. That's probably for the best. It would be a shame if everyone found out you were lying to them all this time. Hey! You keep that to yourself, Max. Perhaps I will. Or perhaps I won't. I'd be more inclined to keep it to myself if you were to do me a small favor, Kila. Fine. Checkmate, I guess. Oh, not quite yet. I'm afraid I have to go for now. My favor involves another meeting. About 7 o'clock tonight. Are you down for that? Sure, where at? Max points down the hallway connected to a lobby. Second door on the right. There's a small meeting room there. It'll give us much more privacy. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have another meeting to attend to. She disappeared just as fast as she arrived. I had to open my big mouth. I keep getting myself into trouble. Dusk. I've been thinking. You mentioned a visit to the people. That this may help my public relations. Of course, Velasquez. Your public image is very important. Especially if you wish to dispel rumors. Yes, but I've thought of something else. Oh? And what is that, my king? A visit to the people might be wrong. If I parade over them in my lavish outfit rife with luxury, they would feel hurt. This would feel like a pompous display of ownership in a way I don't intend. Would you like me to prepare a new outfit? I could allocate funds from the treasury. Something more rustic, perhaps? Maybe not fully intact? With holes? That look seems to be all the rage. No, Dusk. I must not disguise myself. Hiding who I am gives off a bad image. That I'm afraid I don't follow. What else could you be planning, my king? Maybe risky, but I want to open the doors of my castle. I want the people to come to me. They will be able to walk these halls as if they are in their own home. I will give off the image I intend. That Terra truly belongs to its people. And that I don't hold back from them. Really? I would advise against that. We may well be subject to massive theft. Not to mention your enemies may use the opening to plan an attack. Trust me, I've considered all avenues. Let me describe my plan in more detail. Of course, my lord. I did not mean to be crass. When everyone has arrived, I will have them gather in this atrium. At this point, I will address all of them at once. I will be fully forthcoming. This is where they will learn that I have planned for myself and the future of Terra. At that point, we will open our grand hall. We will have a feast for the ages, a ball that will be etched in time. And I will close by ending my reign. You can't be serious, Velasquez. It needs to be done, Dusk. If my enemies still wish to attack me after hearing everything I have to say, then I will accept my appointed fate. For the repercussions of my death will be negligible compared to what comes next. And this twisted monarchy will end, succeeded by the people decide. However, if my plan comes to fruition, I will leave them a beautiful world, in much better shape than it is right now. The mumblings of this new Terra, perhaps they are not as off as they think. We can only hope that. Velasquez groans in pain, grasping at his chest. My lord! Are you okay? He removes his hand from his chest, stained with blood. Yes, I'm fine. Sir, you are bleeding. Please do not be alarmed. An old wound must have reopened. I am capable of tending to it myself. You are dismissed. Yes, of course. Please call me if you need any aid. If it gets worse, we must take action. Moments later, Velasquez leans against the wall. He grips the scepter in his hands, panting heavily. Has it stopped working? It doesn't take long for me to pick up Shock's trail. After following it closely, it leads backstage. Not all the lights are on, so it's somewhat dark. I'm still able to make out everything important. By the time I reach Shock, my eyes have adjusted. I see him standing there with his face in his paws. An extra-large can of Popstar rests beside him. It looks chilled, about half full. Beads of condensation drip down the side. Why did you follow me? I guess he doesn't want to beat around the bush. I think for a moment before I answer him. I need to see that you're okay. He scoffs at me, like I've offended him. Did you seriously just say that? You need to see that I'm okay? Why on earth would I be okay? You know exactly what's been happening. 2 of my closest friends are dead, and you think I should be okay? I don't know where you come from, but around here death doesn't mean okay. Well, clearly I picked the wrong choice of words. He's going through a tough time. I think I should think about what I say more carefully. He turns to the side and starts chugging the Pop Star. The half-full can quickly becomes empty. After he chugs the soda, he looks a little regretful. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I've just experienced a lot so fast. You're still the guest of honor here. Exploding at you like that was out of line. But yeah, there's been a lot of stress. In fact, I don't know if I can handle it. I've been thinking about what I should do. And I finally came to a conclusion. I'm going to resign. Quit the business. It's really my only course of action. Only course of action? I'm not sure about that. But extreme course of action, that sounds about right. I asked him why he's decided to do all this all of a sudden. I'd rather honor their memory, plus it would make me happy. If I stayed in the business, I'd have to perform with someone else. I mean, I'd need to find a replacement for Clace. And a replacement for Rocker, too. I don't think that's a good thing to do. I wouldn't want to give off the impression that they were expendable. They aren't. People move on in show business every day. I don't think that's something I can do. A week from now, Singe will already have planned a new set of idols and a new tour planned. But me? I just couldn't do that. That meant too much to me, you know? It meant a lot to the world, too. So I think I'm going to step down. You think that's a good idea? Yes, do what makes you happy. Smiles at me slightly. Thinking about my next career choice, something like a philanthropist. I've only ever wanted the best for others, and I'd have the time and money for it. I'd make more than enough with my royalties. In fact, I could retire and do nothing, but that would seem like a waste. I wouldn't be making a difference at all. I feel like Clace and Rocker would be more proud of me and cause change. But then, the question remains, what kind of change? I guess I need to think on that. But I think I've already made up my mind. The more concrete details can come later. Actually, I think. He stops himself before he continues to speak. Sorry, I just got a little excited. I didn't mean to ramble on like that. No need to apologize. I have to say, this whole situation is odd. I expected Shop to be hostile and angry. Or at very least, hateful towards Acheron. But is he planning his future? Is he trying to move on, or is this just escapism? It's hard to tell when you're dealing with grief. He could be making an actual effort to move on, or he could be pushing it aside in denial. I think I know what it is, though. It hasn't even been 24 hours since Clace's death. I don't think it's possible to move on that fast. Hey, you there? He waves at me, trying to get my attention. You must have zoned out. I wanted to talk to you about Acheron. Oh, he does want to talk about Acheron. Perhaps I spoke too early beforehand. He must still be mad about what happened. Let me get this out of the way first. This isn't because he overpowered me. I have some genuine concerns. I've just kept them quiet so far. I hope I can trust you with this. I can trust you, right? I nod affirmatively. He doesn't have to worry about me betraying his trust. Whatever he told me would stay between us, because I expected the same courtesy of him. He's a very suspicious man, you know? Some things just don't add up to me. The old security guard disappears, Clace dies, a new guard appears, Rocker dies. It's too convenient. And Killer also has to be somebody here. Rocker's death proves that fact. And I don't know how you feel, but it felt like he gave me a death threat. Back in front of Singe's office, I mean. He hinted that he'd let me die if I didn't stay on his good side, which is horrible. Well, that did happen. But I don't think Acheron is the killer. He's always been truthful as far as I can tell. He keeps mentioning this perfect track record of his too. Turns out it's not so perfect. But not because of Rocker's death. What? I was looking up his name online. There seems to be hints here and there of an operation he was part of in Africa, but refuses to talk about it publicly. Anything that was promising has since been taken offline. He's hiding something. What would he want to hide, though? It would have been something shameful. Something that affects his reputation. What else could it be but a failure? Turns out he's not as perfect as we thought. In fact, there's lots of stuff about him that just leads to long dead web pages. It takes power to do that en masse. I find all of this a little hard to believe. So Acheron is lying about his perfect track record? Or at the very least he's hiding the facts about his past? The latter is more acceptable, but the former makes me doubt almost everything. It goes deeper. Trust me. I cross-reference the dates of Acheron's time in Africa with other notable events. This is where it gets interesting. Maxine Armstrong was also present. Of course, she says she was just visiting, that she didn't have any business there, but she must have been lying. That week, there were explosions. The details of that are also hard to find. But it was all in the same small village, the same one that Acheron was in as well. I'm not grasping at straws. They were there together, and now they're here together. In Africa, it ended in explosions, but it hasn't happened here yet. So right now, we're one step ahead. It's all too connected to mean nothing. Everything about the village during that span of time is also impossible to find. Something bad happened in Africa. Now it's happening here as well. Maybe there's some sort of murdering duo? After that, he remains silent. I'm left to try to absorb what he's just told me. It can't be coincidence that they're both here. But why were the details in Africa so hard to find? I'm assuming that Shark is truthful, of course. I doubt he's the type to make this up. But doesn't Acheron hate Armstrong with a passion? He also had no idea Maxine was involved here. Allegedly. Could be an act to throw us off the trail. We need to get Singe to evacuate. Now. The bottom line is, we're not safe here. We need to leave Tokyo. I don't care where else we go. My mind flashes to the earlier meeting with Singe. How we wouldn't make any rash movements. We don't want to provoke them into killing us. Or I guess in this case, setting off the weapons. It's kind of stupid though. Acheron might talk some sense into him. That is, unless he's involved in this mess. Now I'm not sure what to think. Well, maybe that's going a little too far. But you get what I'm trying to say, right? We can't trust Acheron to protect us. Nor can we trust Armstrong Incorporated. We need to ensure our own protection, not place it in others or in armaments. We may not have seen eye to eye earlier, but this is just a matter of common sense. We all need to push Acheron away. We can't put our lives in his hands. Come on, you're with me, right? I'm not sure what to say, but he thinks that Acheron is hiding failures. I wouldn't believe it, but Rocker is already dead, only after a few hours. So I have proof of his failure right in front of me. However, he's been acting up since the press conference. Perhaps Armstrong's involvement affects his judgment? This case got personal for him very fast. But then there's the issue of Africa. Him and Max were both in the same village, with explosions. Now they're both here, with bombs too. It doesn't appear to me as pure coincidence. And it's clear that Shock wants a response now. I don't blame him for how fast things have happened. But I need to think carefully. There's always a chance that he's just vindictive. Rocker did die on under Acheron's watch. And Acheron did make Shock out to be pretty weak. What do I tell him? That's hard. I'm going to trust Acheron. He laughs at me and clasps his hands a couple of times. After this, an awkward silence ensues. Wait, you weren't joking? Even after everything I've told you? I nod. This is his job, all eyes are on him. Whatever happens will not escape the media barrage. If he wants to maintain his good name, he won't slip up. I can't take the evidence from Shock as proof. The result tangential, hardly concrete. I thought better of you. I won't lie. Mark my words, more people will die. I just feel it in my gut. I'm leaving. I tell him that it'd probably be better to stay. If he acts like that, he could scare the culprit. You think so? What if Acheron is the culprit? What are you going to do in that situation? This could be the final choice we make. Would you be content if you were wrong? Before I can even think of responding, my phone rings. I feel as if my heart stops beating. Another text message? I hope they would stop. Feels like I'm woken up from a nightmare. I raise a finger asking me to hold on. He stops talking to me, giving me time to check. Go through a brief period of hoping it's Singe, or Rook, or Kila, but this time it's short-lived. Go to the lobby, now. Things will begin shortly. I'm not sure what they could possibly mean, but it was about to begin. I stop and think. Last time I got a text, they said a friend would die. I instantly put my phone back in my pocket, storm out of the room without saying a word. But honestly, I wouldn't know what to say. I assume this person wants me alone, and so I leave Shock by himself and go to the lobby. In a certain danger for both myself and my friends.